Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Everyone, I'm very lucky today to have someone I've admired for a very long time, and I have a very deep personal story to tell this individual once we get going. But I'd like to introduce Popeye. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, really glad to be here. Thanks for having me on, Shane.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure. So I'm going to get this out of the way first, so we can have some fun. So I want to get this part of my life out of the way.
Okay.
And
yeah, you warned me. You warned me about this already, so I'm dying to know what it is.
So back in high school, back in the mid '90s, I had some things that were not so great in my life, and at one point, I ended up in a hospital. And in that hospital, I wasn't allowed to have certain things. I wasn't allowed to have many things. And in my room, I was only allowed to have a notebook and a pen. And in the alarm clock that was there was a tape player. And I'd asked if, I could have it, something to listen to. And they said, you're allowed one tape. So I asked my sister if she could bring me, just go to my room, grab a tape, and, that's what I need. And so the tape that she brought to me was Rigged out of my room. And for an entire week, I listened to that album over and over again while I sat down handwriting out the lyrics. And I want to say, without me getting choked up, but thank you for essentially closely saving my life. I want to say thank you personally. I've always wanted to be able to do that because that was a moment for me that, for the listeners, know I've talked about mental health before and we've had this, but it truly is a moment in my life that I can say music saved my life.
Jeez, and you're worried about getting choked up. Wow, Shane. I honestly, I don't know what to say to that. I can assure you, nothing I've ever done had the intention of ever making an impact on anybody's life. I just wanted to go out and play music and have a little fun. But hearing something like that, and not to belittle your experience, but you're not the only person that's reached out to me over the years and has told me something like that. And I'm happy that it helped you in any way. I'm very happy, very glad that I did somehow, albeit inadvertently, made an impact. And well, I'll just say that for whatever it's worth. Nice way to start off the podcast, Shane. Yeah, that's great. We're going to have a rip-roaring time. I
just wanted to get it out of the way because I needed to say it.
It's probably a good idea to get it out up front. I'm very grateful to know that I was able to at least indirectly help you or anybody. No, I'm mostly happy to know that you pulled through
it. It's one of those moments that I take and I hold on to and I cherish. And my wife, in her infinite wisdom, thought it'd be a great idea one day to find a cassette of Rigged and give it to me as a gift. And I told her, not so many words, thank you, what the fuck are you doing? But
I suppose not to make it all about me, but I don't think of myself that way, I'm never going to stop thinking of myself as being a phenomenal dork and in pretty much everything that I do. But then, that's one of the great things about music and about the hardcore scene is that it gives you the opportunity to connect with people and find a kinship of sorts with everybody that you come across over the course of your lives, and it's amazing that that a band that we stopped playing in, I think, 2001, but still all these decades later, I'm still making new friends and I'm still having new experiences because of it. And it really is a blessing,
Yeah, and I think one of those things that gets overlooked for, the hardcore scene, the earlier punk days, and the community that it created, and that I guess us within the community always knew and felt and loved. A couple of years ago, I had chance brought my wife to Furnace Fest, and she was never hardcore or emo or into that type of stuff. And she just felt, she goes, there's 30,000 people here that I never thought I'd be friends with and hang out with. And she goes, everyone here is amazing. And I'm like, that's the community that the music creates, that everyone just looks at it with side-eyed, but there's a better working community within that musical community that is just, when you're in it, you know you're in it, and you know you have, as I always say, I'm at a concert and I'm there with friends. You know, they're not strangers, they're just friends I haven't met yet.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I always felt that way too. Yeah, no, it really is incredible. It's such a, in the scope of things, it's such a microcosmic community, but you know, everybody's pretty much on the same page. You know, it's a good feeling. I not to say that I didn't go to a lot of like sketchy hardcore shows when I was younger, but at the same time, you felt like you were you felt like you belonged, and you didn't have to prove yourself or you know, or pass a test or go through an initiation. Like you were, if you showed up, you were part of it. And yeah, I always love that about the hardcore scene and the hardcore community.
Yeah, and talking about shows, let's dive into a great weekend you just had. That, you know, it sucks that I couldn't get out to Harrisburg to see it. I was at an acoustic set of Chamberlain that night, but
oh well, I don't blame you for going to see that.
Calling Hours, your new band, first time playing live. How was it?
It was incredible. I was a bundle of nerves all week. The thing with this band is that just this last, so the show was on Saturday. I live in Scranton, which is a couple hours away from Harrisburg, and so even though we recorded a record, we've never actually played a single one of our songs together in the same room at the same time. So the show was on Saturday. Wednesday night was our first time that we had practiced, which sounds ridiculous because it is ridiculous. We recorded a record, but we've never actually been in the same room to play a full song together at the same time. So I was a bundle of nerves just going to practice for the first time. Even though we all knew the songs, it's just a different vibe when you're in somebody's basement and you're like, okay, so let's play some music. And it felt great. It was awesome. And, you know, I mean, for rehearsing in a basement, it sounded awesome. So we ran through the songs for a few hours, and it was, and that was great. But our actual first performance was the next morning, which was on a local lifestyle television show at the local ABC affiliate in Harrisburg called Good Day PA. Our bass player is a realtor, and he sold a house to one of the hosts, and just kind of on a lark, he's like, "Hey, I can reach out to her to see if we can be on the show." And they're like, "Yeah, sure," because everybody likes to hear post-hardcore music at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. And so, so had the first rehearsal, and then we had to be at the studio bright and early and set up, and it was completely nerve-wracking for me, at least. And then we performed live on the air on television. And then we had our actual first show, which was on Saturday. The show on Saturday was amazing. We had the honor of playing with Shades Apart, who are just, you know, legends. I think you told me you're a New Jersey guy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So of course you know who Shades Apart is. Yeah, and they were as incredible as they've always been, and so it was a good show, good turnout, and I was really happy to get it out of the way so that I could kind of come back down to earth and then get back to Scranton and start scooping out litter boxes.
Well, I mean, the fact that you are continuing to play music and create and start a new band is something beautiful for me, to give me something to look forward to in the fall. Awesome that it's going to be coming out on Revelation. Just one of those
Thanks.
labels that without Revelation, I probably wouldn't have so many bands that I fell in love with because of just a little sign on the back of a tape or a record like that. I'm all in because it's on that label. So
Yeah, we feel the same sense of pride with it, and there's a reason why Farside stayed. Everything we did involved Revelation Records and Jordan Cooper, because um, Jordan's a great friend and he's a great label, and certainly there's a prestige with it if you're a hardcore kid. Like, yeah, I want to be on Revelation Records, but also, Jordan's he's just a great guy, um, it does make me feel. It gives me a really, really good feeling. The thing is, Jordan and I have become extremely good friends over the years and have remained extremely good friends. In fact, he called me today just to say hi, and we were just kind of catching up on personal stuff. But then, like, getting to work with him, which I have not done for a very, very long time, is exciting. And we're all jazzed about it. And like I said, we're hardcore kids, so it's like, yeah. How can that not be rad to be on Revelation Records?
yeah. And so, talking about being a hardcore kid, when in your life did music change from being background noise on the radio to it being something? Like, do you remember the first thing you heard that changed the way you thought music could be, or what it was that you first heard that you attached yourself to? For me, it was the Beach Boys as a 6-year-old, and then from there I just grew on. But what was it for you?
It was I'm going to go with Earth, Wind and Fire. When I was around 7 or 8, my dad was a huge fan, and that was the first concert that I ever went to when I was 8 years old. We went and saw Earth, Wind and Fire at the Fabulous Forum in Inglewood, California, where the Lakers used to play. But yeah, their records always blew me away. That show just, I mean, come on, man, it's Earth, Wind and Fire. Like, of course they're going to put on a good show. So yeah, that was kind of a game changer to me. I mean, clearly I followed down the same musical path as Earth, Wind and Fire. But it was just one of those things that, like, that kind of, I think if I had to pick like a defining moment, I think that's the thing that really got me into music and wanted me to kind of explore. It was a couple more years before I discovered punk. And that was just the result of having an older brother and an older sister who had more how do you say, more progressive taste in music than I did, because I was just a child. And they were getting into more alternative music, and they had cool friends that would bring home records that their friends would say, "Here, check this out, take it home, put it on the turntable and the family room hi-fi." I would say that in that regard, the most defining moment was when my brother brought home the first Clash album, and that just blew my mind. And I got hooked immediately. I had no concept of what punk rock was. I didn't even know what they were singing about. But I loved everything about it. I loved the energy, and loved the songwriting, even though I didn't write songs myself at the time. So I guess it's two defining moments for me. It's that Earth, Wind and Fire concert, And then it's that listening to that Clash album for the first time. Those are major things from me.
Those are two good defining moments by two, I guess they're pretty popular bands in the world. At some point they were, pretty big.
Yeah,
So
they're all right.
I'll allow you to start with Earth, Wind and Fire and head on to the Clash.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, can I ask, you being a New Jersey guy, how the heck did you get into the Beach Boys?
I got into the Beach Boys simply because I was a little kid in the back of a car on a long ride home from a relative's house, and Little Surfer came on the radio, and I was in the back. I was entranced, and I started saying, "Play it again, play it again, and play it again."
So now I'm turning the tables, and I want to pick your brain a little bit, if that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. And when it came to that, the first thing that was the first tape I ever got. I asked my parents as a little kid that I wanted that tape, and they got me a little orange tape that was the very best of the Beach Boys, and I played it until that tape broke.
Oh. I know the routine. And not to say that there isn't surfing in New Jersey, but I mean, I had to ask.
Yeah, and you are the guest, so you're allowed to ask me things but I necessarily don't need to answer, but you do need to answer the questions I ask. So that's the only difference.
All right, that's fair. Well, I will tell you that another thing that we my whole family, we were all into music. Everybody played instruments, and we were just a very music loving family, and there, like everybody had a radio in their respective rooms. And I mentioned the family hi-fi, and it was very rare for the house to be quiet at any point, because everybody loved to just kind of you were either playing an instrument, or you were listening to the radio, or you were listening to a cassette, or you were listening to a record, or something like that. I can say specifically that we were we were a camping family. We used to go on camping trips. That was typically every vacation that we took. And so when we would get into the family station wagon, my brother and sister and I would do sing-alongs, and Barbara Ann was one of our all-time favorites that we would do, and we would work out the harmonies and stuff. My sister still sings in a local choir at a community college once in a while, and but even then she'd be like, "No, you do the high part, you do the middle part, you do the low part." So in a way, that's probably, I'm sure that has a lot to do with how I, quote unquote, learned how to sing.
Well, you have to, if you're gonna copy the Beach Boys, you have to learn how to sing.
Yeah, that's true. When we were rehearsing for the Calling Hours shows, we were working on harmonies, and it was like, oh my God, we're not, maybe this is good, maybe this isn't, I don't know. But then that reference came up, like, can we try to do kind of like a Beach Boys thing? And not in seriousness, because no one else is going to be the Beach Boys. So, but no, they are big in my heart of hearts, for sure.
Now, growing up out in California, and you hear the Clash for the first time, right? And that's punk, not from here. Where did that lead you to next into searching for your own type of music after hearing that?
I gradually started paying more attention to local bands. I mentioned my older brother. I spent most of my childhood in Huntington Beach, California, in Orange County, and that area was a hotbed of very influential early punk rock bands like The Adolescents and Social Distortion and Agent Orange. And then just kind of up the coast a little ways is where the Circle Jerks and the Descendants were also from, and Black Flag. And it just kind of gradually sort of filtered down when you'd go out, and this is back in the day when people still made flyers, and so you'd go around and you'd see flyers for these bands, and the artistry of the flyers and the logos that these bands came up with were just, and the names of these bands, you were just like, who the heck is that? And it just made it just piqued your curiosity, is what it was. And I don't know if you're familiar with the movie Decline of the Western Civilization. But my brother actually got to go, and mind you, my brother is not a punk rock guy really at all. He likes it and he appreciates it, but he was never like a scenester by any means. But he got to go to a screening of The Decline of the Western Civilization when that movie first came out. X, oh my God, still one of my favorite bands. And he came home and he was like, dude, I got to tell you, like, this was like all these bands, it was like the craziest things. And more and more, it just piqued my interest. And I can assure you, I was not one of those overnight punk kids who was like a prep on the last day of high school, and then the next year you show up with a mohawk. Like, it was gradual for me. Because I was, I was a kid and I was shy, and but little by little by little by little, I got more and more into it, and then eventually I started. I eventually taught myself how to play guitar, and started doing like crappy garage bands, and then eventually started doing more legitimate things. Yeah, not. Gosh, I feel like I have the most boring biography. Like when I hear these words coming out of my mouth, it's just like, just whatever. You just go out and do stuff, and then here we are.
Well, let's try to make it a little more interesting. What was the name of the first crappy garage band you were in?
Bottom Line.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. Well, we never played a show. We were a band for 4 years. We recorded a demo. Never played a show. And then after that, I joined a band called Borderline. And then that was on Conversion Records, run by Dennis Remsing. Dennis played drums. I played guitar. And that was like the first like 7-inch that I ever recorded was with that band. I think we played like maybe 5 shows, maybe. And then that's when I eventually, I was still in that band, and then eventually joined FARSIDE. They had been around. They had been playing together for a little while. They had tried out a few different singers, and they couldn't find one. The guitar player and I were friends. We went to high school together, and I practically had to beg him to give me a tryout because he didn't think I knew how to sing. But then I went to practice, and and it just kind of went from there.
Now, that moment that you get into FARSIDE and it becomes what it is, right? And it became something, that was, in my eyes and in my life, very big. And what was the aspirations at the time when you got into the band, and what you first were starting to do? Where did you want to go? What was there a goal? Because sometimes people get together and there is no goal, and they just want to play music with their friends and everything's good. But was it a very serious, hey, let's do something with this, or was this, let's just see what happens?
If the other guys in FARSIDE listen to this, they will be disappointed, because for me it was, I just wanted to sing for a band. That was it. I had no thoughts beyond that. Like, I can't even think about what I'm supposed to do 3 days from now, let alone something bigger than that. When it came to FARSIDE, like, we were kids, we were teenagers still. I like I said, I had to like beg Rob Hayworth to give me a tryout. Because I thought, why not? Let's have some fun. I've never sung in public before, but I think it was pretty good with the Barbara Ann harmonies and the station wagon. So, give me a shot. Let's go for it. And uh, that was it. Like it was. I will admit I was never good at thinking big or thinking long term, but I guess gradually it started to become something like that. Like once we got on Revelation, well, we did our first 7-inch on Crisis. That was a whirlwind experience, and then we recorded our album on Revelation, and then there was talk about going on tour, and then there was talk about doing another record. And I think it's just a matter of, as you get older and get more experienced, and it's easier to navigate certain things like that. But me personally, I mean, I just wanted to go to college and have a steady job and be able to pay my bills and be a respectable member of society. Still working on some of those things. Yeah, no, I think towards the end, when we were getting close to the what eventually became the end of the band, at that point we were all hovering around 30, and we weren't playing as much, we weren't as active. We were, you take on more and more responsibilities the older you get, and then you think, like, how can we even keep this going, because we can't all even get together on the same night at the same time. And then what are we going to do? Just play some local shows? Are we going to ever go on tour again? No, not really. Probably not. But then we did have that conversation at that point where we thought maybe there's this outside chance that we could do this full time, but yeah, then we all kind of realized, no, that's not going to happen. So let's just call it a day, and we'll shake hands and we'll just go our separate ways. I have no idea if that answered your question or not. You're making me very sentimental with all this talk, Shane. So, no, I'm just kind of regurgitating memories. If you're interested,
I'm completely interested, and that's what this is all about. It's about your life and why what you've done in this world with your music is important. And I believe when it comes to certain things and certain stories, whether it's sentimental or brings up a memory, I hope that through some of it you find something like, oh shit, wow, I forgot about that. That was awesome. Because no matter how old we get, we start to forget things. We start to lose our memories. And now that we have, a platform like this, we can have them digitized forever, and people can listen to your stories. So,
yeah. No, it's great. And I can assure you that not a single day goes by where some random memory of something that has to do with playing music pops into my head. And they always happen. They seem to happen at the most inopportune times, like when I'm scooping litter boxes or doing the dishes, or I'm supposed to be prepping vegetables for dinner, and then I stop and, oh, remember that one time there was that guy and that thing and that place and that, yeah, wasn't that great? And then I just kind of get lost in that thought, and I'm just kind of standing there. And then 15 minutes later, my wife comes down and says, are you doing anything right now? What are you doing? Oh, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, that happens at least once a day, if not more. And I'm not exaggerating or kidding around. Like it happens every day, like every day. And the crazy thing is that because I get to continue playing music, it continues happening. Like I've gotten almost nothing done the last couple of days because of the first calling hour show that happened on Saturday and that weird TV appearance that happened on Thursday. Like I'm still processing it and reeling over it all. And so I've been a little slow the last couple of days, to say the least. So yeah, I greatly appreciate all of it. And the thing that makes me so especially grateful about it is because I get to have these memories, and not everybody does. It's most people don't get to do the kind of stuff that I got to do, and it's not like I made lots of money and had like crazy escapades and things like that, but just the people that you got to meet and the connections that you got to make, and friends that I met more than 30 years ago that I am still very, very good friends with and still stay in contact with. None of that would have happened if it wasn't for FARSIDE, if it wasn't for the hardcore scene, and getting back to something that we touched upon earlier, and finding bands that you can connect to, and that can sometimes say things that you can't say to yourself, and you need somebody else to tell them to you through their lyrics. Because I've had those moments too, man. Everybody has, where you need to you find something, and it makes you feel like things are going to be okay. Yeah, and you feel lucky, and it makes you feel a tremendous sense of gratitude. Yeah.
And I mean, you brought up an awesome thing about, relationships and moments and people you've met and friendships you've created over 30 years. And I think that, shouldn't be something that people overlook. It's one of the things that I don't overlook. I have, my core group of friends are still the kids that I grew up, playing football in the street with when we were, in grade school. And now we're
That's great.
all reaching our 50s, and we're still friends. And I have my friends from the military that I'm still in touch with that are very important to me. And I have people that I've met at shows and concerts that I've, been at that I'm still friends with. That's the important part of life is to recognize when something is real and true, and being able to hold on to those people and still having those friendships, because without them, you're alone in life, and it's a tough way to go.
Yeah, true. I guess I should say I didn't really know how to answer your last question about were we thinking we were going to do something big, because no, all I was thinking about was, isn't this going to be great? You're going to make friends. Like that was the biggest thing for me. And honestly, everything else was, I mean, I shouldn't say the music was secondary, because we tried to, we wanted to be a good band, but that was the goal to me. Is like, wow, you're going to make so many friends, and you're going to be able to hang out with so many people and connect with so many people. And it came true.
Now, is that goal still the same for what you're doing now with calling hours? Is that is there a goal with it, or is it just to have some fun and meet some more new people and have new memories to hold on to?
Well, it's hard to say, because I made 4 new friends when I joined this band. And then I'm meeting their friends, and honestly, I don't know what I got myself into. They have been playing together for for a long time. Those guys have known each other forever, and they've been in multiple different projects together. And uh, we met. They had some songs, but they didn't have a singer, and so I kind of sheepishly raised my hand and said, "Well, I'm a singer. Just want to try it out." And it just kind of went from there. So we're kind of, we haven't been a band for very long, so we're kind of navigating through a lot of that stuff and just kind of seeing where it's going to go. Um, I think that because we're older guys, we're probably not going to go on tour or anything super elaborate like that. But we are just, I mean, we just had our first show. It was great. So let's do another show and another show and another show, and we'll see what happens after the record comes out. And once Revelation starts doing digital singles, and we'll just kind of, honestly, we'll just kind of take it from there. But it's great. It's
Well, that's good. You take it slow and you figure out what things can come of.
yeah, but at the same time, if I can make more friends, I made 4. That's pretty good for a year and a half. Like 4 great friends. Like those guys are my buddies. When Revelation asked to, like said that they wanted us to be on the label, we were asked, is this like a project or is this a band? And I jumped right in and I said, no, this is a band. We are a band. This is a group of guys. We're a gang, so to speak. So I would love for it to be something that carries on for at least a little while, and we can go out and do some cool stuff. We can do a little traveling. We can play some shows. As far as goals, I have none. I've achieved them. We recorded a record that we're all really proud of, and we've already had a good time in just this last week where we got to play together for the first time.
Well, that's awesome. And I mean, when it comes to doing stuff like that, try to pull some stuff back from your memories. Is there anything that stands out to you, for good or for bad, of some past performances or tours of your life that, some things that happened to you that you'll never forget? And again, it can be for good reasons or bad reasons, but certain things that you may want to share with people about what your life was like.
Oh man, how much time do you have? Because like I mentioned earlier, I have those thoughts every day. I wouldn't say that any one of them is any more or any less significant than one or another. Like, a conversation that someone had with me when they walked up and said, "Hey, can I just tell you this thing about myself and how your band related to you?" Or even when we weren't even known. And man, I remember, okay, well, here's just totally random thought. I remember having, I think we were somewhere, FARSIDE was somewhere in Massachusetts, and the guitar player for the opening band said, "Hey, you want to go get a bite to eat?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And I think I had $2. And so we went to a gas station and I just bought like a bag of potato chips. We had a blast because I was like, all right, I got a bag of potato chips. Let's just talk about music and hardcore and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it could be something like that, or it could be the time that FARSIDE got to open for Smash Mouth in a minor league baseball stadium, which was ridiculous.
Was it ridiculous that you opened for Smash Mouth?
Yeah. I thought it was a joke. I was temping at the time I was temping at a medical supply company, and I got a phone call this is, I mean, somebody got my work extension at this long-term temp assignment that I had, and it was this guy with a British accent. He's like, "Hey, oh, is this Popeye?" I'm like, oh my god, I'm at work, dude. I thought it was somebody at Revelation like playing a prank on me, and I said, yeah, whatever. Click, and then my phone rang again. I'm like, yeah, come on, dude. Whoever this is, like, knock it off. No, dude, really, this is this Popeye from FARSIDE? Yeah, okay, let's get this over with so I can move on. I got to go to lunch soon. Um, yeah, and for some reason we got offered a show to open for Smash Mouth in a minor league baseball stadium, and it turned out. And I had to call Jordan at Revelation, and he said, "Yeah, I gave him the phone number. He's really a show promoter, and that's really happening." Okay, so I loosened my tie a little bit, and then called him back, and yeah, and then we we opened for Smash Mouth. How ridiculous is that? We were nobodies. Like, I don't know how this happened. And Jordan was like, I don't know how this happened either, but apparently at this local radio station, one of your songs is in rotation, and they thought it would be a good idea. We were like, okay, so yeah, we and we were thinking, oh, it's going to be like 8 bands, and we'll be the first one. Nope, it was you and Smash Mouth. What? So yeah, we had to throw our gear together, and we drove out there, and I was completely lost because it's like this huge setup, and he was like, what kind of microphone do you want? I don't know, one that works. I don't know. And yeah, like it was if I can paint a picture, we were set up, the stage was where second base would be in a baseball diamond, and then there were all these like chairs in the infield, and then there was the grandstands. So it was about 8,000 people, and amazingly, we didn't suck, which was great, and we played really well, and that was a very significant moment. But also, Shane, I got to tell you, man, not to sound weird, but when you told me your story when we first started this interview about you being in the hospital and how rig mattered so much to you, I got to tell you, that's equally significant to me.
So having that moment, right, and being in a band, and you're, playing with Smash Mouth, and you're a hardcore, post-hardcore band. I mean, what reactions did you get from other bands? Let's call them, the other bands, your friends in other bands that are on that hardcore, post-hardcore scene, when, they find out that you're opening for Smash Mouth at a minor league baseball stadium. Did you get any backlash, or was everybody happy?
Oh, not at all. Everyone was like, "Can you get me in?" No, nobody gave us any guff about it. Everyone was like, "No way!" And I'm like, I don't know how it happened either, but yeah, I'll try to get you in if you want to come. Yeah. No, hell no, because we knew, those of us in Farside, we knew that this was completely ridiculous and probably shouldn't be happening, and so that was our attitude. Like, this should not be happening, and we didn't think that it was going to like launch our careers or put us in the stratosphere or anything like that, which it didn't. I think it just kind of went back to the kind of the initial attitude of, let's just go have some fun. You don't know what's going to happen. Let's just go have some fun. But no, nobody, as far as we know, nobody ever gave us any crap about it. But yeah, we brought along some friends. Just, it's like, yeah, if you're willing to make the drive out into the Victorville area, yeah, come on out. We'll get you in. We got paid $1,500. Ooh.
you got $1,500 and you got 5 new friends, right? And you could have got 10 new fans too. Like that's just the whole thing about it is getting that opportunity to play at something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember it. I remember everything about it so well. Well, as an example, we were told like, okay, go out into this area when you pull up, and then we'll have a production cart come in and get your equipment for you. And we were like, what's a production cart? And then these guys in like golf carts, like they showed up and they pulled up and they just, this army of minions. They were just like loading our equipment out of our cars and throwing them on these carts. And they're like, all right, follow us. You can leave your cars here. Just follow us in there. And then we entered through the center, through the center field wall at the stadium. And we were just kind of like wandering through there. And then there was that moment where they opened up the center field wall and we walked in. And I'm a huge baseball fan. So when we all just kind of took pause, like, wow, even though this is a minor league baseball stadium, it's a baseball stadium. And it was just glorious. It was like one of those Field of Dreams kind of moments, like, and we kind of felt bad. Like, are we allowed to walk on the grass? Like, is it cool? Because it's just like perfectly groomed, and we just kind of wandered in, and we felt pretty out of place. I felt extremely out of place. Like, what are we doing here? We don't belong here. Somebody made a mistake. Somebody made a clerical error, and this is why we're here. It was incredible. Oh, actually, if you're interested, there is a YouTube video for it. My good friend Evan Jacobs, who does Anadenia Films, came along and he filmed everything. I don't know how good the quality is, but if you're interested, I could send you the link if you want to attach it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to take a look at that to see the day that FARSIDE became an all-star. Pun intended.
Pun accepted. Pun acknowledged. Yeah. But again, it's incredible that those memories and those moments happen every day. And I couldn't say that was any more significant than any other thing. Like, we got to play with the Offspring a couple of times, once before they got big and once after they got big. And those were completely different experiences as well. But they were still both great shows, or a lot of great bands that we got to play with. And sometimes not so great bands that you got to play with, but you still made the best out of it, and you still had a good time, and you just wanted to go out and play music and then go home and get back to reality.
So other than Smash Mouth, what was a band that you were on the same bill with that you were just, awestruck or just taken aback that, I can't believe this is happening? Like, besides that moment, someone you may have looked up to or admired and got a chance to open for.
Oh man. God, there's so many. Played a lot of shows with Game Face, who are one of my favorite bands. I mentioned Shades Apart. Like, they've always been an all-time favorite for me.
Me too.
Played a bunch of shows with Lifetime. Texas Is the Reason. I don't think anybody, just because it's good fodder. That's why I mentioned the Offspring and Smash Mouth. But I loved all the bands that we got.
You're allowed to name drop on this show. It's fine.
Well, it's all bands that we were all like part of a scene at a particular point in time. And Sensefield, played a bunch of shows with them, and they were always amazing. I really couldn't say. Outspoken was one of my absolute favorite hardcore bands from Orange County. Like, they were terrific. We played a lot of shows with Chorus of Disapproval. Loved their album, even though I was never straight edge. I don't know. I loved those guys, loved that record. And, Yeah. Uh, I don't know if I'm giving the best answer, but yeah, I think I already shot my load as far as like big bands, because I was never a huge Offspring fan or Smash Mouth fan. Those are just ridiculous situations that happen. But to me, it was more about like, oh, we got to play a show with some really cool bands. We got to play with Ashes. Um, got to play with Grip. Like, just it was just, I don't know. It was a cool time. But you don't know that, you just like what you like, and you don't know that any of these bands are going to be significant. You don't know that you yourself are going to be significant. Like, you are really just living in the moment, and you just want to go out and play, and that's it. That's it. To me, there were no goals other than getting there and having equipment that worked, and that's it. You barely got paid, and that was fine. You know, if you get gas money and a few extra bucks, you could go hang out at Denny's afterwards. Oh, Strife. We played a bunch of shows with Strife. They were always great guys. Yeah. There were a lot of good bands from that time, and it was just fun.
So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this question, because I was told I had to ask this question
Bring it.
by the one and only Andy Diamond. Told me to just say
Well,
2 words: Hollywood Squares.
Yeah. I'll just say that there was a situation where somebody won the jackpot on Hollywood Squares, and I got to go on a round the world trip for like 3.5 weeks. And you write Andy back and tell him, yeah, no, yeah, and you can tell I have Andy's number, and I'm going to fucking call him right now and tell him he's an asshole.
Okay. Well, I asked it. He told me to ask it, so I had to ask it. So.
And that'll make him really happy.
Yeah, he'll love it. He'll love it.
Of course he will.
Now, in your life, when it comes to listening to music and sitting back and listening to music, do you have a band that you constantly turn to that, you know, that never lets you down? It's one of those things that I always look at that, you know, when I don't know what I want to listen to, or I don't know how I'm feeling, I always turn to this band. You know, Rolling Stone categorizes as your favorite band. I don't. It's a band that I can always turn to that, you know, just never lets me down, and I turn on when I'm searching for something.
Yes, but it changes weekly. I do have Spotify Premium, so I have access to an entire literal universe of music, but I always just go back to stuff that I've already listened to a million times. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to that kind of stuff. I know that I could listen to new music, but then I'm like, why don't you put on Agent Orange Living in Darkness while you're prepping vegetables? Yeah. Or, yeah, you know, Black Flag Damage 2 would be a good call when you're trying to, you know, having a cozy night in front of the fireplace. The Descendants, oh man, like they were a massive, massive influence on me, to the point of where I didn't want anyone to think that they were a big influence on me, because I didn't want to like copy anybody. So the Descendants, 7 Seconds, Joe Jackson, Elvis Costello, and the Attractions. I think it's important to include them. My favorite era of Elvis Costello is when he was playing with the Attractions. It was a massive influence on me. The Jam, I've always loved. The Clash, we already talked about. Yeah, there isn't one that I can go to, because it changes. I guess it depends on what's on the recipe for the evening. You know, you got to pick that thing that's going to set your mood. But if I'm in a particular, are you asking like if I'm in a particular mental state and I need like comfort kind of band? Because there's still nothing there for me. But it's more of a culmination of like all of these bands that all of these bands, all of this music, all of this life that I've had the that I've been able to live. It's yeah, there can't be one. Like people ask, like it's like asking, what's your favorite band? I don't know. I can give you like 12. What's your favorite record? I can give you like 25. Um, yeah, I just can't, because it just depends on what mood I'm in at that time.
Listen, it's totally fine. You didn't have to give me one. You were allowed to give me, the 11 that you gave me. I'm totally okay with it. I'll cut it down and pick the one that I want to pick for you.
You son of a bitch, putting me on the spot like that.
Well, then I'm going to put you on the spot again. What do you listen to and get tons of enjoyment out of, that someone would be really, really surprised that someone from a hardcore band gets enjoyment out of listening to? Like New Edition or something?
Huey Lewis and the News. Hello.
Okay. Why would you be surprised? Sports is on my desert island top 10 list.
All right.
Albums that I would bring.
Are you going to get American Psycho on me about sports right now, or? Yeah. Well, the thing is, the stuff that they did even before that was awesome, and even the stuff they did before that was even more awesome. Like they were like, yeah, they were a lot more. They were poppy, but they were a lot more aggressive with the stuff that they did. I've actually posed at the Calling Hours to cover like some of their songs, or at least like one of their songs that they did. Yeah, no, they're I think, I don't know, they're great musicians. I've never actually known a saxophone player, so I don't know how I could recreate anything like that. But I always love that. I always love the grittiness of Huey's voice. Like he sounded like he was about to have a heart attack, but not necessarily have a heart attack. Yeah, they were great songs. Yeah. I'm a fan.
Did you watch the doc on him on Amazon yet?
No, I didn't know there was one. Just him, or is
there is? It's fantastic, and it's also extremely sad at the same time.
Oh, why is the news not involved?
The news is involved. It's just the fact that he's gone, like can't hear anything at all, and he's still trying to sing, and it's heartbreaking towards the end to watch a legend like that and what's happening to him.
Oh man, I had no idea. Well, I guess I'll hack into my sister's Amazon Prime account and check it out. No, they were a great man. I mean, I'm not going to, if we're just going to talk about 80s pop music for a minute, I've had this conversation with my wife. I'm just going on a tangent so we don't get too emo. But my wife really does not like Phil Collins, and she'll ask great questions that I cannot answer, such as, what's the deal with Phil Collins? Like, why does anybody like Phil Collins? Like, well, he wrote a bunch of hit songs, but why are they good? Well, I don't know. But I mean, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. But that song's stupid. Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you don't know what you like about. It's impossible to explain music. Like you can't. Like you connect with something, just like punk, just like hardcore. I can't explain why I like Huey Lewis and the News so much, but I absolutely love them. You like something, you connect with it. Sometimes, if you're really lucky, you have an opportunity to get involved with it, to pursue it, just like any other kind of pursuit. You can pursue it.
No, that is a big thing of not knowing or how to explain something. When people ask me about music, and my job here is to introduce people to new music and older music that people may not have heard, and they ask me to explain something, and I'm like, I'm not even going to tell you. Just fucking listen to it, and you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. But I can't tell you how to like something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We when Calling Hours had our first show on on Saturday, the opening band was this hardcore band called Social Pressure, and they were amazing. They were amazing. And I like went out and and like made a point of saying like, "Okay, you were in that band, you were great. You were in the band, you were great." I've never listened to their music. I'd never heard of them before, but there was something about something about them that, yeah, they were just super fast, loud, hardcore. It was great. It was like 1985 all over again. But I don't think anybody else that showed up that night was really that into him, but I was super into him. And as far as explaining, yeah, you're walking a plank when you try to explain to people why this band is good and why you should like them, because you're going to lose that argument. You're not going to succeed in that conversation. You're either going to like it or you're not going to like it.
Well, from the little bit that I heard of the Calling Hours, I like it. And I got to say, I can't wait till the fall to hear the full album, because just gets me very excited when someone I admire is continuing to do what they do so well and give me something to look forward to and hopefully fall in love with all over again.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. We're very excited about it as well. We're very anxious for it to be out there so that the people can listen to it. We put a lot of time and effort into it, and it's slow going when you're pressing vinyl and you have to kind of wait for, you don't know what the pressing plant's doing, but it's in the pipeline. Revelation is going to be releasing some digital singles prior to this autumn, and we're at this point we're just kind of trying to just book more shows and just be out there, and if something happens with it, something happens with it. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. We have our lives, which we can go back to, and our spouses will probably be happy if we're hanging around and doing housework, and that's fine, rather than going out and leaving them behind. So, we're really stoked about it. It's amazing that Brian McTernan wanted to be involved with this, and we're so grateful that he wanted to be involved with it. And it was a great process working with him. Different kind of process, because we went into it with the mindset of, don't be married to anything that you're doing, and let Brian kind of tell you what to do for the most part. And that guy's a genius, and he really kind of he deserves all the credit in the world for kind of shaping it into what the sound of the band is. And and in the end, we're at the end of the day, everybody has to look at each other and ask, we all cool with this? We cool with this? And if everybody's nodding their head up and down, then all right, we're good. Let's go. Let's move forward. Next song.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to ask you to pull up your Spotify Premium now. We've been here for over an hour. Doesn't feel that long, but I want to continue this conversation later after the album comes out, so we can talk more about it once people have had time to digest it. But right now, we're going to go into our segment where it's called our Weekly Threes. It's 3 things that we're listening to that you would like people to listen to as well. You give your 3, then I give my 3.
Okay. I'm going to say, well, we already talked about Huey Lewis in the news, so I'm going to say, hold on, I'm bringing it up right now. Okay. Some of My Lies Are True by Huey Lewis and the News. Black Flag, Depression, Public Enemy, You're Gonna Get Yours.
All right. Good 3.
Are they?
Yes, some would say. Some would say yes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Can I get an? Yeah. Honorable mention, Hope by the Descendants.
I will give you an honorable mention for the Descendants, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. So for my three, in no particular order, the name of the band is Raz. That's R-A-Z-Z. The name of the album is Everything You Will Ever Need. They are a German indie band. That's something I've been on right now.
Mm.
Number two, it is Trevor Sensor. Name of the album, it's a volume 1 and a volume 2, so it's On Account of Exile, volume 1 and volume 2. It's indie folk punk singer Dylan stylish type of stuff. Again, just fucking listen to it. It's fantastic. It's something to just have on, and you'll be amazed when you listen to it. And last but not least is a band called Seed to Tree. The name of the album is Proportions. They are a German indie band that are just putting out awesome shit right now.
Seems to be a little bit of a German theme with your picks.
Well, so what happens is once I start finding bands from a certain area, I start diving directly into that part of the world and find tons of bands. I mean, I've done it with Scotland, Sweden, Finland, Australia, France, Germany. I mean, everywhere that all of a sudden I find a new pocket somewhere and I'm like, I gotta fuck, what's going on there?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm totally cool with it. I mean, my last name is Vogelsang. I don't have a problem with the regions that you're speaking of. It was just kind of curious.
But Popeye, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for allowing me to tell you my story and how important you are to me. Thank you for creating the music that we all know and love, and can't wait to hear the new music that we're all going to fall in love with and hold on to for future generations. So I want to say thank you so much. I hope you come back to the show at some point once the album comes out and we can talk some more and get in depth about the album. So
I would love that. Thank you for having me on, Shane. I really appreciate you opening up to me and letting me open up to you about things as well. So, yeah, I'd love to talk to you again. That would be really, really great. And I really hope that we continue to stay in touch.
We absolutely will. And for everybody out there in the world, you know what time it is now. Go out, listen to Farside, your favorite train wreck, and coming soon, Calling Hours, and have a great fucking time.
Must have had a dream about you, 'cause I woke up in the worst of moods. And when I looked at the clock, my day was already ruined. I'm glad that you like your new place, and I hope your new job works out well. I'm getting used to my kitchen and sleeping by myself. And as we talk and reminisce, I'm barely I think I just might, 'cause it can't get much worse. And I hope that you're unhappy to be alone. I'm at my suit job every day, and Farside's writing a new LP. And no, I still ain't school, I've almost got my degree. I keep myself so busy now, 'cause I don't wanna be at home at all. 'Cause every time that I'm there, I'm cross at you haven't called. And then I dwell and reminisce about the time I bought the angel dress that you wore for me. And the sun went down and you swore you were mine. And I hope that you're unhappy to be alone. children will be beautiful. But I don't ever want to know that they exist at all. So let's start talk and reminisce, 'cause it won't thrill the cobwebs in my chest. Or when I glitch the phone and I cry my feet, that I know I'm alone. And I hope you're miserable. And I hope that you're unhappy to be alone.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.